We're now going to change the control panel and the motherboard out on an ES3000. Now on the ES3000 you'll have to turn it over and don't lay it on its side, on one side or the other, and you got screws going all the way around both sides. Those screws have to come out so that your side panels can pop off. There's like 6 screws to each side, I believe, something like that, but both side panels have to come off, you know, so you can get your front panel off. Once you get one side panel off, just simply pull down on the panel. It'll pop off just like that. Then you'll have to turn it over and take off the other side panel, which comes off the same way that that one did. Then once you get the screws out of that side, just simply pull up on the side panel. It'll pop off. Then you want to have it down on its top because there's 6 screws you'll have to take out in order to take the top of the unit out. They run right down the sides of both sides on that. And of course, you'll want everything to be unplugged before you start working on it. After you get one side, just turn it around. Get the other side. There's 3 of them there, just like that side. Once you get those 3 screws out, you can actually turn it back over and your top will come around. Now, on the front of it, on the front, which holds your front case on, where he's at now, there's 3 screws on each side. You'll need to take all 3 of those screws out. They're right down the side of where your brown casing is. On each side there's 3. You'll need to take those 3 out. Once you have those 3 or 6 screws out, 3 off both sides, then your front and your top will actually come off together. Now your top will separate from your side. Now if you'll just set your front panel down, up at the very top of that unit where he's showing you there, where that white wire's running to, that's called the motherboard. That's your control panel on your motherboard. Now, when you get your new one that we've sent you, when you get it, just take it out and lay it out and show it the same way. Now what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to change the wires out one at a time. Now the first thing you'll do, if you'll go ahead and grab that white wire running down to your other board and just pull it off, just snaps off, then you can move your control panel out of your way. The less stuff you have in your way, the better off you're going to be. Now if you'll take that control panel and set it down just like it sits there. Now what we're going to do is get us a notepad or something and write these wires down. The wires coming in off your right side, as you can see there, from front to back, you have the black wire, then you have 3 red wires. The 3 red wires go like this. There'll be a red wire with a blue end. Then there'll be a red wire with a green end. Then there'll be a red wire with a clear end. That's the way you're going to want to put them back on. So it goes black wire, then it goes red with the blue wire, then it goes red with the green, and then it goes red with the clear. You want to make sure that they set up that way. Now on the left side, you're going to see there's 3 wires that come in. Those wires are color-coded by their plastic ends. They'll be white, red, and black. They just snap into the white, red, and black part. Then on the 2 wires on the very top, they are also color-coded red and white. They snap into the red and the white parts. Now if you'll take you a screwdriver, there's 4 screws, 1 in each corner of that board. When you get your screws out, the easiest thing to do is to pop the left side wires and the middle wires off. Then you can leave your right side wires on and put them on one at a time just to make sure that you get everything back the right way. Once you get the screws out, as you can see, it'll pop right up. He'll now take them wires off the other sides because they're so easy to figure out. There won't be no messing them up. Go ahead and pop them out of the middle. Then on your sides, they just have little clips where you pull the clip up and they pull out. Now, when you have those wires off, you can hold it down just like he's doing. Now, if you'll take your black wire and take it off first. Now, take your black wire and put it on your board, your new board. Now, remember, it goes down to the front, the first one. Secure it on there, make sure it's tight. Then if you'll take your next wire, which will be the red wire with the blue on it, pop it off, then put it on in your number 2 slot. Then take your next one, which is your red and your green, pop it off, put it on the 3rd one, and then of course you've got your last one, which is your red and your white. If you'll pop it off, put it on, then take that your power pack or motherboard and put it back where it goes. All you'll have to do is set it back up there, and there's got 4 screws in it where you can actually put the 4 screws back down. Now you can go ahead and put your wires back in your middle if you want. The red one, which goes to the red end, it'll only go in one way. The white one, which goes to the white end, which it will only go in one way also. Then you can take your white on your far left end, snap it back in. They'll only go in one way also, and everything's color coded on them, so it's very easy to get those back to where they're supposed to be. Okay, after you've got all the wires back on, if you'll take your screws, the 4 screws that go 1 in each corner of that motherboard, go ahead and put it in, each one, then you'll have that tightened back down, and you have replaced that part of the motherboard. Okay, now if you'll grab your front panel, the brown one that you took off before. Now on that front panel, you're going to see on that front panel there, the green part right there. It's got 5 screws in it. In order to change out that panel, you'll need to take those screws out. Now, once you start taking those screws out of the green board there, like I said, there's 5 of them. Go ahead and take those out. Just simply lift it out. Now after you get that one out, you'll see the new one that we've sent you. It's wrapped up in the plastic, of course. Just unwrap it. take it and place it back. Now the white wire has to go to the bottom. He just showed you where your plugs are. It goes down in the holes. You'll see there, it's very simple. But just put that back down to make sure the white wire is down at the bottom, and go ahead and put your 5 screws back in so that you can tighten the control panel down to the facing on the panel. Now, once you get all the screws put back in the control panel, just simply take your control panel, flip it around, and take your white wires there. Your white wire off the end of that control board is going to come up, and it's going to snap into that top snap on your motherboard. Only goes on one way. Now, once you get that on, you're ready to put your front plate back on. Remember, it had those 6 screws that went down the side there. If you'll take those screws, they should be silver in color. Take those screws and start putting them back down the front, just like we took it off. Make sure those holes line up. Once they line up, if you get a screw in them, then you can go ahead and put your 6 screws down, the 3 down each side. Okay, once you get your front panel, all 6 screws, 3 on each side done, you can take your top, the black top on it. You're going to notice in your front panel there's 4 holes, and then on your top panel there's 4 notches there. That top goes right in there and slides against those notches, pops in on those notches. When it pops in on those notches and slides back, just like so, and then you're ready to put your screws in the bottom. Now there'll be the silver screws will go in the bottom of those also. Then once you get your 6 screws in your top, you need to take your filter and your thing and put it back in. You need to turn it over probably on its wheels to get it back in properly. You'll want to put that back in before you put your side panel on for the door, so that you can make sure that your side panel and all that works properly without being hung up or something being wrong. Just simply slides in like that. Then you can take your one with your door on it, your side panel with your door on it, just place it in at the top and at the side over on your front panel, and it actually pops in. Once you get it popped in and up, turn it over, and then you got your 6 screws that we took out when we put them in. Remember, those screws are black. Once you get that side on, if you'll grab your unit, get ready to put your other side on. Now this side doesn't have a door in it, it's just a full side. Put it up into the top and then into your front. They actually pop in the sides and the front. You've got little old things there that they pop up on. You get them popped in, sometimes they can be a little hectic. Once you get them popped in though, your screw holes will line up. When your screw holes line up, just turn it over and be ready to put your screws in. Now once you put your screws back in your side panels, again there'll be 6 of them, 3 on each side. Get those done in tight. You'll be able to turn your unit back over, and you have successfully changed out the motherboard and the control panel on an ES3000.